Hello, I'm Chanel. Welcome to this reading vlog. So even though it's spring down under, it's a bit of an autumnal day. It's a bit overcast, it's on the cooler side. So I thought, while I can, I'll bust out my warmer clothes before they're going to be packed away for spring and summer. Even though for me personally, my favorite season is summer. And that's just because I am cold all of the time. And summer is the only time of year that I'm actually warm day and night. So I love summer for that aspect, but my favorite real month slice of the entire year is March. So March is the first month of autumn. And for me, the first month of autumn is always, it's just the best. You get the end of summer and the beginning of autumn in the 1 month. And it's just chef's kiss. It's like my two favorite things. I still got that lingering, sultry, seductive heat. And then I've got the beginning of a change of that intrigue and moodiness that comes with autumn. So March is it for me. I live for March. I recently thrifted this and I was like, oh, I want to wear it this year. So I busted it out today. So I haven't read anything yet because I just finished my 26-hour readathon last night. I'm on my way though to the book club today. I am excited to go to the book club, but it's fallen on the worst day possible for me. I don't know if I've got any other endometriosis or menorrhagia girlies watching, but today's a bad day for that. I am on day 7, but I've just hit the heaviest part of my cycle, and the pain and the heaviness, it's anxiety inducing. It's not fun. I'm exhausted and I'm like, do I risk it going out and having a flooding issue? It's it's a bit of a, roll of the dice, but I'm like, it's only for an hour and a half. I think it'll be fine. So I am going to go. I hope I don't regret that decision. But I just wanted to see what kind of other people are going to a book club in the middle of a Wednesday. I'm going to guess it's a lot of retired people, a lot of pensioners, because unless you work for yourself, I don't know who's going to be free at that time. So I'm interested to see what it's like. And like I said, it was for a book that I enjoyed. It's for lessons in chemistry. And I really did enjoy that book. And I'm interested to see what everybody else thought about it. And afterwards, I've got to quickly pop to the shops to grab some groceries. I don't know why. Normally I do my shopping online and have them delivered because that's what's best for me energy-wise. However, I was like, why don't you actually go this time, Chanel, so you can pick your produce? Because I'm going to be honest, the online pickers, when it comes to the produce, they suck. They suck. So many times I've had to call up and be like, yo, my strawberries be 80% mold, 20% strawberries. It's not good enough. Please explain. So I thought go today because we're getting a change in fruit and vegetables now that we're in spring. I want to see what is some fresh spring produce that's available. So I'll also be doing that. But I'll come back and give you the down low on what the book club was like. So I'll catch you then. The book club, everyone was so lovely. Just the loveliest ladies. It was all women and it was all people who are retired. So that was the demographic. So they were all like, oh, it's so nice to see a young person hear a young person's perspective. Most of the ladies did enjoy lessons in chemistry. Only a few did not, if you thought it was a bit ridiculous and unbelievable. But overall, the consensus was that it was great and they're all looking forward to the show. But I would go again if they're doing a book that I'm interested in chatting about. Hello, I'm back home. I feel like I'm low. I'm so low. We're just gonna go with this. Or should I tilt it? Okay, that'll do. Hello, Sylvie. So I have decided that I am gonna just do a mini vlog because it's almost at the end of September and I hate it when I carry over books into October. It makes it messy. So I'm just going to read some mystery books for this week because I've got The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter here. So I'm going to just read a few mystery books. And I have to ask if anybody else is like this, but when you're able to match your lingerie perfectly to your outfit, does it not make you feel like you've got your shit together? There's just something about having a lingerie set that perfectly matches your outfit that just makes me feel like I'm owning life. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel good about myself. So anyway, I will touch base with you guys once I have read Strange in the Case. And like I said, I would go back to that book club. I was kind of bummed that there weren't any peers, people in the same sort of generation as me, so I could make some friends. Would love to make some friends, close to my age, but all the ladies were so bloody nice. But yes, it seems to be 50 to 90 was the age range of the ladies there. So I will definitely go back. Like I said, the next book they're doing, I didn't like it. I think it's the Book of Jericho. So I'll wait until they read one that I actually want to chat about. And then I'll head back. But yeah, I was just thinking too though, I don't think a lot of millennials and younger go to book clubs. I had just, because the librarian who was, you know, from co-worker of mine was saying, you know, what do you think would be a time and a date that some people your age would want to come to? And I said, I don't think they want to come. I think people my age prefer to go online or just to start channels and TikTok so they can talk about books online, not in person. I think most people my generation too, if they have book clubs, it's just going to be with their personal friends. If they happen to have friends who like reading, I don't think they're going to go to an organized event with strangers because yeah, I said to her, I don't know. And I said, I don't know what time. Obviously this suits me because I'm a work from home mum. So I can come in the middle of the day, but I guess that time mostly only suits people who are retired. But then in the evenings, you might find some other single people, but I don't think anyone with kids is going to come in the evenings. I don't know. I couldn't answer a question. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. I said, I've always tried to start book clubs and they just all flop and fail. I've never been successful in keeping one going, unfortunately. I was bummed that I'm obviously not going to meet any besties. But the ladies were all lovely and they were all like, oh, we hope you come back. I'm like, thank you. So it was nice. It was a very nice experience. Hello. So I have listened to 1 hour of the London Séance Society. I wanted to get an audiobook because it's so funny. I was just telling my girlfriend who also has chronic illness that lately I've just been having so many more spoons. I've had energy, even though I'm on my period, which is normally the worst. And then I've been doing like more weight workouts. I've been really trying to increase my muscle mass, and I was just saying, you know, how great it's been, and then I went to the book club, I went grocery shopping, I was still fine. I came home and I've had a chronic fatigue attack, and pretty much what it is I will instantly, out of nowhere, I will just get hit with this extreme fatigue to the point where I can't even keep my eyes open. It doesn't matter what time of day it is when these chronic fatigue attacks hit, I just go down like a sack of bricks and I am out for the count. So I had all these plans of what I was going to do today, and I was going to start that book and yada yada yada, but it's like, no, I'm hoping that I can just have a nap now and that'll be enough to recover and I can get some other stuff done in the evening. But yeah, I haven't had one of these in ages, and it's not because I didn't eat well. I've actually eaten really well today. Like my diet's been good, not a lot of, you know, refined sugar and flour and stuff. I've been eating whole foods and increasing my protein amount because I've been doing a bit of a bulk. Ever since I finished my water fast, I decided I really want to put on muscle as much as I bloody can. So that's what I've been doing. So yeah, I'm so fucking tired. And I can't even listen to the audiobook anymore because I've reached the point where I have to go to sleep now. But the audiobook, I've listened to 1 hour, basically about a woman named Lena whose sister was murdered, and she ends up going to study with this acclaimed psychic medium who can talk to murder victims and find out how they were killed. So she's training with her so that she can go back to the site her sister was killed and contact her. So yeah, so far it's okay. I'm not loving it, but I'm not disliking it. So I will continue on with it. Yeah, so that's the audiobook I'm listening to. And obviously the Strange Alchemist book is the one I'm reading. And I'll pick one more murder mystery book for my Kobo for the evening times. But I don't think I'm doing any more updates today, to be honest. I'll touch base with you tomorrow.
I have one picture of Lulu and Suki in the bed next to each other.
Hello, good morning guys. It is daylight saving today, so I am feeling pretty wrecked. I'm not a fan of daylight saving. I would actually like for them to get rid of it and not mess with my circadian rhythm, but it is what it is. I'm also a little bit worse for wear too, because we had someone apply for Willow, and whilst that is also wonderful, I do want Willow to have a home where she's not stressed, and I'm also heartbroken. So I've been like crying for like 3 days straight. I'm talking to the lady today who seems really lovely to set up a trial with Willow, but it's been really hard, to be honest, for me to sort of process and deal with, and I've been trying really hard to process, and I'm still grieving and not doing very well, but I'm sure with time it'll be okay. And like I said, I want what's best for Willow, but yeah, that's why I also haven't filmed this whole time. So I've read all 3 books, but I haven't filmed because I haven't been able to talk. I've been too sad. But before I tell you about my reviews, I got my last book mails. So this one was my last Illumicrate box, and it is A Study in Drowning, which, you know, I have already read. So this is the cover. These are the edges. So it's like that all the way around. This is the naked hardcover, which I think is really, really stunning. I actually like that they've done that. And this is the inside. The last Fairy Loot one I got is this, Son of Blood and Ruin, which I have not read. Prepare yourself for the sprayed edges on this one. Isn't that stunning? Like, that is gorgeous, just pink and pink on there. But that little birdie, so cute. And this is the cup, like how, wow. I love that. That is gorgeous, like beautiful, beautiful. That's the spine. And then I think it's the same image on the back, but oh my God, that's gorge. And then we've got the end papers and the inside of the cover, which can be an alternative cover. So yeah, these are the last of my book subscriptions because I decided to cancel them, since I think out of all of them, obviously I haven't read this one here, Son of Blood and Ruin. The only other one I kept was the Jessard Air. All the other books just weren't high enough ratings for me to keep them, and they're just so expensive. So I had to cancel. Okay, so let me tell you about what I read. So book number 1 was The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. This is basically like taking all of the classic monsters. So you've got Frankenstein's monster, and the Island of Dr. Moreau, and Renfield from Dracula, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Just take all of them and then have there be also female counterparts of that. So the Bride of Frankenstein, Dr. Moreau's daughter, and Jekyll and Hyde's daughter, and put them together. So basically you've got all of the classics mishmashed with also Sherlock and Holmes. So they're in this. And then you take their daughters who work with Sherlock and Holmes to bring the men to justice. It sounds like it would be a fun time, but I don't know, it just felt a bit too much, I guess. I've given it 3 stars. The book is quite slow for me in a way. It takes obviously a long time for them to plod through to the end. There is a character named Diana, which I really couldn't stand her. I just didn't like her at all. And she, at the end of the book, does the dumbest thing ever. And I'm like, bitch, no. And her reasoning for it is, but he's our dad. I'm like, if your dad is a psychopath and murders dozens of women and you've never even met him, why would you do anything to help them? So when it ended that way, I was so infuriated. I was like, no, I can't stand her. The other women, like, they were interesting characters. I liked Dr. Moreau's cat daughter the most. She was the coolest. I also liked the Bride of Frankenstein chick, Judith. She was all right. When it comes to the main character, Mary, who is Jekyll Hyde's daughter, like, she's okay. I just didn't find it very believable that Sherlock and Holmes would be like, oh, hey, lady, please do come along with us on this entire investigation and tell us your findings when you've had no previous experience with detective work. You know, I'm like, okay, sure. So I don't know, it's okay, but it was just a bit meh for me. Like, I just wasn't that invested. Obviously it's set in Victorian era times. Yeah, it was just very average. I didn't find it particularly clever in terms of, you know, how the mystery intertwines and all that sort of thing. So I guess too, because they're using classic characters, kind of already know those stories. So it was a bit boring for me. And then I read the London Séance Society. So I chose this one as an audiobook. So I listened to the audiobook for this. And I think that's the only reason I pushed through, because I needed to have something on while I was doing gardening, because I've been heavy into the gardening this week. Otherwise I would have DNF'd it. Oh, guys, this is so boring. This is incredibly dull. You basically have a book set in the era when seances were incredibly popular, and it looks at those who have actual talent and are actual mediums compared to charlatans who are fooling the Victorian society with their tricks. And in this book, you've got a character whose sister has died, and she teams up with a very famous actual medium so that she can learn how to contact her dead sister and find out how she died and sort of solve her murder. And basically you've got two POVs, one of whom is this main character, and Lena, what's her name? And then the other character is Morley, this dude who is a gross, vile dude, and whose POV served absolutely 0 point. There was no purpose to it. Having his inner workings didn't add any layers or intricacies to the plot. It didn't reveal any sort of perspective that was interesting. Nothing. I didn't understand. At the end of the book too, I'm like, so really, his POV was completely superfluous. Thank you for wasting my time with that. So his POV just should have been trashed straight away. He works for the charlatan London Séance Society with all of their bullshittery, pretty much. And with the book, you go through Lena working with, I think her name was Vaudelin, the medium. There's a sapphic romance in this. Basically, that's all this book is. I'm going to be honest. It is just a very slow sapphic romance with a little bit of magic thrown in. You know, a little bit of murder mystery thrown in. But they end up coming to the London Séance Society because it turns out Lena's dead sister, Evie, was working with the London Séance Society. Now, whose POV would I have loved? Evie's, the dead sister. By far the most interesting character. Her and maybe Vaudelin's, the mediums, POVs would have made for a much better book, those two. Yet we've got dull as a whiteboard Lena and then douchebag of the year Morley. So those are the two POVs we have. So because I didn't like either of their characters, Lena is a dumb bitch as well. She's so dim-witted and just, oh my God, does so many things. You're like, Lena, why? Why would you do that? Why are you jumping to that conclusion? What? That this book was just really an absolute bore and mess for me. At the end, finding out who murdered Evie and what the nefarious subplot is, it's not like, oh my God, mind blown. No, it's like, okay, cool. Wow. I wish I could get my time back because that was such a fizzle of an ending. So yeah, everything does happen right in the last couple chapters of this book, but still, it was so boring. So I've given it 2.75, obviously because I didn't hate it, but it was just, I'd rather not have wasted my time reading that, you know? So that was a London Séance Society. I know this is not going well, is it? Like 2 out of the 3 are done so far. So the last book that I read is The Death of Mrs. Westaway. So I got this from a YouTuber who had read it, I think Larkin Legends. And I thought, I'll add this to my mystery week, you know? So this book is basically Knives Out. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like Knives Out the movie. Instead of a nurse, though, you've got a long-lost granddaughter. Voila. It was interesting, though, because it does include the use of tarot. You know, I'm a tarot bitch. So I loved that aspect. You've got a young girl named Hal, who's a tarot reader. Her mother was also a tarot reader named Maggie. She's deceased. She was in a car accident. And then all of a sudden one day when she's on the brink of pretty much being iced by the local loan shark whom she owes money to, and she's got like £1 left to her name. While she's right on that brink of being done for, a mysterious letter arrives telling her that she is one of the inheritors of a massive fortune from this lady who is supposed to be her grandmother. Now she believes that her grandmother's already dead, so it couldn't possibly be her, but it's her name and it's her address. So she's like, maybe I can go there, get some sort of small inheritance, all my issues will be solved. So she goes, she meets the family, messy, rich ass family, like I said, very Knives Out, and the plot thickens. You know, is she the granddaughter? Is she not the granddaughter? What happened to the missing daughter in this family who is meant to be her mother? Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it's good. I've given it 3.75. Like, it's good, but I think because I've also seen Knives Out and I've read so many of these books, it just felt a bit much more of the same. I predicted like 99% of this. There was only one thing that I didn't tie in having to do with the family. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that was also involved. But otherwise, everything else I did predict, like who's your daddy and all that sort of situation. But I enjoyed it. It's a very quick read. It's, you know, well-paced. And the main character, Hal, is kind of believable, her actions, you know, like if you were put in a situation, what would you do? it is believable. I did enjoy it. There is, you know, multiple murders in this. So, and it's very cozy, set in a very crumbling, derelict manner. It's a 3.75. So I'm really glad that I ended my week on a bit of a better book. To be honest with you, I was a bit worried. I was like, oh, this is going to be a trash week. I'm already like down in the dumps emotionally, going through some stuff. I needed some escapism. 2 of those books did not give me that. They just compounded to my sadness and, you know, everything else. But the last book did take me out of my own mind for a little bit and have a little bit of a break from being in my feels. So I do appreciate that. But that's everything for this week's vlog. Until next time, stay wild, star child.